Okay, so we've all seen them, right? These superfood powders that promise, well, everything.
They're everywhere. And the hype is definitely strong.
But what's really in them? Beyond the marketing, and are they actually worth adding to your routine?
That's the big question. And today, we're going to take a deep dive into one specific popular one, the BetterBody Foods Organic Superfood Blend.
Right.
Our mission here is pretty straightforward. Quickly unpack what's inside, look at the science, or lack thereof, for some bits, and flag some important things people often miss.
Yeah, those details matter. And we're using reports, some scientific research, and what actual users are saying to get the full picture.
Exactly.
So let's jump in. This BetterBody blend, it looks good right off the bat. That clean label appeal is strong.
Totally. Checks a lot of boxes. Organic, non-GMO, gluten-free, soy-free, even sugar-free. That catches the eye.
Definitely. So nutritionally, what stands out?
Well, it's actually pretty dense. For just 2 scoops, you're hitting 100% daily value to DV for a bunch of B vitamins. B1, B2, B3, B6, B12.
Wow, okay. The energy vitamins.
Exactly. Plus, you get 35% DV for A, C, and E. Those are your antioxidants, good for immune support. And, interestingly, 6 grams of vegan protein.
6 grams isn't huge, but for a greens powder, it's something.
It is. And it's a blend pea, quinoa, hemp. That mix gives you a complete amino acid profile, which is, important if you're plant-based. It shows some thought went into it beyond just, like, throwing in some spinach powder.
Okay, so more than just vitamins, what about the other specific ingredients, like the chia and flax?
Yeah, so those proteins support muscle. Then the chia and flaxseed meal, they bring omega-3s and are generally good for gut health.
Makes sense.
And there's more green tea extract and a fruit and veggie blend. Think carrot, beet, spinach. More antioxidants, more immune support compounds. It's a pretty diverse mix.
Okay, but here's something that probably makes people pause. Proposition 65.
Yes. The Prop 65 warning, you'll see it on this blend and some other BetterBody products too, for lead.
Right. And it's super important to understand what that means, and maybe more importantly, what it doesn't mean. This isn't a recall.
Absolutely crucial distinction. It doesn't mean the product is unsafe by federal standards, like FDA or WHO standards. California's limits are incredibly strict.
How strict are we talking?
Like sometimes thousands of times lower than what the FDA considers safe. It's targeting trace amounts that plants naturally absorb from the soil. It's not about contamination or added lead.
So it's a regulatory thing, a transparency thing in California, not necessarily a red flag for safety compared to, say...
Exactly. Compared to actual recalls you sometimes see from other brands for things like undeclared allergens, peanuts, milk, whatever. That's a totally different situation. A direct, immediate health risk for some people. This lead warning is, well, it's more nuanced.
It definitely is nuanced. So putting the Prop 65 aside for a moment, what's the actual experience like using it? Does it taste, healthy in a bad way?
Yeah, the taste test. Most people seem to find it pretty neutral if you mix it with something flavorful. Juice, a smoothie, it kind of disappears. No weird, gritty texture, mostly.
Mostly.
Well, some people do mention the chia seeds stay a bit crunchy, and if you mix it with plain water, yeah, some reviews mention a dirt-like taste.
Yeah.
So, smoothie is probably the way to go.
Good tip. And what about value? How does it stack up price-wise?
It's actually very competitive. Around $0.40 per serving, maybe less depending on where you buy it. Compare that to something comprehensive like AG1, which can be, over $2.60 a serving?
Big difference.
Huge, which, might suggest a trade-off. Maybe the concentration of some of the fancier specialized ingredients isn't as high as in those premium blends. It seems focused on affordability and hitting those core nutrient DVs.
That makes sense, which brings us to some key takeaways, right?
Yeah.
We need to remember superfood is just marketing.
Absolutely. This is a supplement. It complements your diet. It doesn't replace whole foods or meals.
And it's interesting, you mentioned fiber-rich ingredients like chia and flax.
Right, but look at the final label, only 1 gram of fiber per serving. That's like 4% DV. It's low.
So the ingredients have fiber, but the final amount per serving isn't significant.
Exactly. It's something to watch out for in supplements generally. Also, while we know things like spinach and green tea are good for you based on tons of research.
The specific blend itself probably hasn't been studied in human clinical trials.
Pretty much. The benefits are usually extrapolated from the individual ingredients. It's not proof the blend does all those things in that specific combination and dose.
Okay, so wrapping this up, what's the bottom line for someone thinking about this?
Well, the BetterBody Foods Organic Superfood Blend seems like a convenient, pretty nutrient-dense way to supplement your diet. It definitely emphasizes clean ingredients and those certifications.
And our advice.
Remember, it's a supplement. Drink plenty of water
Mm.
and maybe mix it in a smoothie for taste. And of course, the standard advice, if you have health conditions or you're on medication, talk to your doctor first, always.
Solid advice. And maybe this whole discussion leaves us with a bigger thought. In this world of like hyper-transparency and really complex regulations like Prop 65,
Yeah.
how do you, the listener, figure out the difference between a genuine health risk and one of these, very nuanced regulatory warnings? It kind of shows that being truly informed means digging a bit deeper than just the front of the label.